Yo, what's going on, everybody, man? Thanks for checking out last week's episode. You know, I always say thank you because, you know, if you're not paying attention, man, people are supporting you even when you don't, like, even when you don't see it, people are supporting you. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Check out last week's episode. To this week's episode, yo, I got my man Anton, my man. It's just great. My man ADS. I call him ADS because that's his photography name, but you gotta see, this guy is just great, man. He breaks down a lot of stuff in terms of photography. He breaks down all kinds of things, and we talk about a whole range of different subjects, man. And you're gonna hear him about how he transitioned from the corporate life to the freelance life, and how it wasn't easy, and how he had to make a lot of changes, but he grew. So we're gonna be talking about that, and we're gonna talk about a few other things, man. So stick around, listen, enjoy the show, man. And if you got any questions and concerns, man, definitely hit me up, man. All right, that's about it right now. Just check out the show, all right? Peace. Yo, what's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to the Brian Johnson Show. Listen, this is episode 12. Like, 12, mind you. Like, I've done a couple. Now, at this point, like, this is a few months in.
Nice.
It's been a minute. I got my man here, man.
Nice.
My man, ADS. Yo. So, son.
What's up?
Yo, first and foremost, let me just, like I do with everybody, but let me just tell you about this man, right? I've known this man since high school. I remember him. He used to get all the chicks. Let me tell you about boy. This boy was a player from the Himalayas.
Come on, man.
But first and foremost, this guy is cool as hell, man. He's an honest person.
Thanks, bro.
He talks but I say that about a lot of people I've interviewed. I said they're honest and stuff, but really, when that comes right down to it, this guy, he's been my photographer. I've used him for shoots and stuff, man, and he's been on the up and up. And when I needed something to get taken care of, he took care of it.
Thanks.
When he put his editing down on it, he went above and beyond to help me out. And one thing I can say is I appreciate you, man. And this guy is a photographer for real.
Thanks,
for real. So introduce yourself, man. Tell people who you are, man. What's good?
All right, man. My name is Antoine Smith, and my photography brand is called ADS Photography.
Yes.
And ADS stands for Antoine Dior Smith. So that's what the acronym is. Dior is my middle name. I started in 2012 when I seriously started taking photography serious in 2012. And here we are, 2018, and there's been a lot of growth. It's been a nice little journey. I'm having fun with it.
That's what I'm talking about right now. So, bro, all right, so you started in 2012. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to take you a little farther back because I've known you for a while.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about when you got out of school. I know you went to school. Now, what happened like after you left high school? 'Cause that's the last time I saw you.
All right, so I went to Montclair State University, and I had got accepted to Hampton, and Hampton was about $18,000 a year. And my mom had a real conversation with me, and she said, "Look, I know you want to go to Hampton. I know some of your friends are going to Hampton, but $18,000 is we can't do that." And I respected her for that because you know what? Money doesn't grow on trees.
Been there before.
We weren't
big time.
We were not rich, and Montclair was much more affordable. And I wasn't far. I dormed though. She did want me to dorm because when she was younger and she did the college experience, it was more of a community college. It was CCNY that she went to.
Right.
So she did.
Your family's originally from New York, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Brooklyn.
Okay.
I'm from Brooklyn. My mom is from Brooklyn. My dad is from Brooklyn.
Right. So your original. So I'm sorry for everyone who don't know. It is you started out in Brooklyn, and your people's moved here to Teaneck.
Moved to Teaneck.
Okay.
I'm a transplant.
Yeah. You feel like you're a Jersey guy now.
Yeah. I spent 12 years in Brooklyn, but those 12 years was it was such an impressionable time because you go from being a baby to a boy to a preteen.
Yes.
And those are some really crazy years, a lot of changes, a lot of growth.
Yeah.
And I feel like I grew up a little fast. Like I felt like at 12 years old, I was very privy to a lot of things. And even though someone would look at me as a child, I still felt like my brain was almost like a man's.
New York was a different place then, period.
Yeah,
though.
East Flatbush.
East Flatbush was a whole different place.
East Flatbush, Brooklyn. A boy growing up in Brooklyn in the 80s and the beginning of the 90s.
Wow.
I mean, this is the crack era.
Yeah. This is heavy. That's a heavy time, man.
The transition from the 70s to the 80s, all of that.
And you came over to Teaneck and win at that point. What year was that?
1992.
1992. So that was like, I think Clinton was just in office, right? The Olympics had just happened.
I think.
Yeah, 92. That was a year the Jordan and all them went down to
Barcelona.
So that was the first
Barcelona.
That was like a big Olympics for me as a kid growing up. That was a big Olympics.
Yep.
That was a major time. I can't really explain it. I could just tell you it was mage as they say.
Yeah, that was a great time. Yeah.
So you come over in 92.
Mm-hmm.
And you go through Teaneck and everything. The adjustment was probably a little like, wow, okay, so I'm out here in the burbs.
Yeah, it was different.
It was different.
Very different.
And so when you got to high school, at that point, most people begin to start to stretch out from what I've understood about a lot of my friends who came over from New York and they got transplanted here to Teaneck.
Mm-hmm.
Did you start like feeling like you got to get back to your roots in Brooklyn, or did you like fully ingrain yourself in this area?
Now, are you talking about me at 12 years old? Or are you talking about a little bit later, like in
I'm talking
high
like
school?
10th grade, high school
10th
time
grade?
when things begin to change. You know what I mean?
By 10th grade, I had made so many dope friends out here, man, that I grew to love New Jersey. When I first moved to New Jersey, I was complaining like that first year. It was different.
Yeah.
But by
Crickets.
10th grade, I had already made some great friends, and I loved Jersey because I didn't have to watch my back as much. Yeah. Crime wasn't as crazy.
Yeah.
I was still literally 15 minutes away from New York with no traffic. Mm-hmm. And by 10th grade, I had realized that New Jersey is not that far from New York, because when you first move and you're 12 years old, you don't really know distance like that. At least I didn't.
You felt like you're in a whole nother world.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, Jersey, I'm far. I moved from Brooklyn. I miss my friends. What am I doing out here? Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But, by 10th grade, you realize that if you get a car and you drive over to the George Washington Bridge, you will be in Washington Heights. Mm-hmm. And you're not far from where you were. Yeah. So I managed to balance. I kept those friendships that I cared about in Brooklyn. I kept them, I still, contributed to those friendships. Right. But I had made some awesome friends out here, and I started to really love New Jersey.
That's dope, bro. That's dope.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of people when they move out here, it's so different from them. They don't want to conform. They don't want to change. People don't really learn to grow outside of that box. Yeah. Now, now at this point, you're, just so can we catch back up? You were going to school. Mm-hmm. Your mom's was like, all right, listen, you can go to the school in Jersey. Mm-hmm. At that time, did you have any idea about like maybe going into photography? You were just like, maybe I'm not even going to go into it. I know you started rhyming at one point.
Yeah. I went to school because that's what, America says you should do. Mm-hmm. So, and I knew...
Funny you say that. I had this conversation the other day. I always say, there's two types of people that go to college. Yeah. People who want to go to college and people who go to college because that's what they're supposed to do.
I went to college because that's what I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. There was I had never learned that you should stop after high school, so I had to keep going. Yeah. And I do like to learn. Right. I just don't like being tested. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love to learn. Mm-hmm. So I had no ambition for photography at that time. But I was the guy that always had my camera in my pocket.
You had the Cool Pix pocket cameras? Yeah, I remember those.
I always had the camera.
Yeah, I had one of those too. I used to love having that shit on me all the time.
I had one of those, especially like events, parties, and club nights, or like just hanging out, those Thirsty Thursday nights. I had the camera with me. I loved pictures. Yeah. But I had no aspiration to be a photographer at that point in my life.
Right. I remember so many times running into you, because we both went to the same barbershop and stuff, and I would always run into you every once in a blue here and there. And you were always like, yo, I got this moving, I'm going over here, I'm doing this. Like, you always seem like a person who you stay in a steady up climb. Like you don't go down. Like it's like I always catch you moving here, moving there. Like you're not one of those people that stick around for the bullshit. Like if it ain't going down, it ain't happening. I ain't with it. Like I ain't with this shit, man.
Yeah, I maybe it's my personality, man. I like to stay busy. I like to stay productive.
Yeah.
I like to grow. I like to develop. I don't like to stay in one place.
Mm-hmm. So so staying in one place is not your thing.
Not my thing. Yeah.
Yo, that's such a good thing to be because I always think that when people get too complacent, they get lazy.
Yeah.
They get really fucking lazy. Really, really lazy. Mm-hmm. So when did you went to school. Mm-hmm. Did you finish school? Did you stay in school? Did you left? You were like, I'm out. I'm going to go do my own thing.
No, I finished. I graduated. I graduated September 14th, 2001. 3 days after September 11th.
How was that? How was your life at that time?
It was bizarre. It was weird.
It was weird
because we want to celebrate all of the graduates. You want to celebrate, but something so tragic and deep just happened, and you almost felt scared. It was eerie.
Did you feel like guilty about trying to celebrate at that moment? Like, why are we celebrating? Like, we're at war. Like,
yeah. No, I don't know if it's guilt, but it felt weird. It didn't. It's like, what just happened? What's happening in our country? But we just finished a milestone in our lives, and our parents and our friends and our family, they want to see this, move forward. So you're trying to get back to normalcy after something really crazy just happened.
Yeah.
So that's what it felt like that day. It was like, let's get through this and let's get back home because you wanted to feel safe.
Yeah.
It was all about feeling safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember 9/11 like it was like yesterday, man. I remember being at William Patterson. Mm-hmm. I remember us thinking like somebody was we saw this truck that was parked in the back of the parking lot and it was sitting there forever. So we thought there was a bomb in that. I remember going to class and all of a sudden like all the people that were firefighters and first responders at that time were like their phones were going off. And this is Nextel days and they're running out the damn place. The TV in the science center is got this like the buildings are on fire and then we could see the smoke from the hill. And you could see the smoke, and I was just like, whoa. At the time, my grandmother worked for Presbyterian, and she worked for Presbyterian in Manhattan, for those who don't know. And that's a huge, huge hospital. And she was there, but she didn't work on the floor or anything. She worked in the medical records. But I remember being scared to death because I didn't know what was going on with my grandmother. And then they cut off the highway. We can't leave campus. It was if you lived in Jersey at that time, you understand what I'm talking about. But it was the closest thing to like an apocalyptic moment, I guess, in my life.
It was bugged out.
It was bugged out even more so when the lights went out for that time being back in 2005. It still was a wild time. So you graduate and you're like, all right, I graduated. I'm assuming you got a job at that point. You got into a job at that time. Took some time away, or what did you do?
So I was working at Lids in Willowbrook, and then I transferred to Lids in Garden State Plaza.
Right.
And worked at Lids until I got my first real marketing job.
Yes.
So.
Working in the mall is an experience, by the way, FYI.
Yeah, the mall was cool. Because
I worked in the mall. I think everybody worked in the mall.
It was close to Teaneck, Paramus. It was close to Teaneck.
Yeah.
I was in the Macy's cookware section. So I know it seems like, what the hell you was doing in cookware? But I am job, and they had gave me a job. So I said, I will take the job.
Yes.
Thank you for the job.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
Yes, Lord. You don't understand. We need those gigs. The clubs are not free for us this time in our lives.
I took the job.
Right.
So I had done Macy's. I had done Lids.
Yeah.
I put my retail bid in, and then there came a point where it's like, yo, I have a degree now. You need to get out the mall.
All right, okay. Word.
So then I finally got my marketing job, and that was the mail industry.
So, how was that?
The mail industry?
Yes.
I started at 22, and I left at 36.
Ooh, that's a long.
37. I left at 37.
That's a long time, bro.
I spent 15 years in the mail industry. So what started off as just a job became a career.
So explain me exactly how does this work? How does this industry? How does this work? How does this? I'm intrigued right now because that's a long time to be somewhere. During that time that you were there, I must have had like at least 6 jobs
in 15 years.
Yeah.
All right. So the best way for me to describe this industry is mailing addresses, names and mailing addresses are being rented.
Right.
So if you ever go to your mailbox and you wonder how someone got your address,
Yeah.
your name was probably rented.
Oh, okay.
So if you, let's say you were a subscriber to the Source magazine.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then in, maybe about 4 weeks, you get a double XL promotion.
Yes. That's happened to me plenty of times.
They rented, double XL probably rented the Source's names, but that's just an example.
Okay.
Sometimes competitors are not going to do business with each other because they're like, I'm not going to give you my assets so you can build up your company.
Obviously, yeah.
So, but some competitors do work together and they'll do an exchange where there's no money involved. You ship us 20,000 names and addresses, and when you want 20,000 names and addresses, you place your order, and then we'll ship you 20,000 names and addresses.
That's some sick shit, man. That sounds like what they're doing right now with the information age, right now with Facebook. Like that sounds almost pretty eerily similar to that. That's wild.
Direct mail walks that fine line of privacy because it's your name and your address. It's not so. Yeah, that's special. That's private, right? Your name and your address. Yeah. But in the mail industry, they walk a nice fine line as far as ethics go. You're not supposed to do anything ethical, like take the names and addresses and do modeling on those names and addresses. And what modeling means is when you start to get the age, the race, the interests of that person, then it starts getting a little bit more like, whoa, how did you know Brian Johnson had an interest in cars? Your name gets modeled, but they can do that. And they can do that based on your what you've purchased.
That's what they're doing right now with Facebook, and the algorithm does exactly what you're talking about right there. That's the algorithm does exactly for that, because I can look at something. If I look at something on cars.net, that joint will pop up. That ad will pop up on my Facebook feed.
2 companies have data. Equifax, you've heard of Equifax?
Yeah. I was checking my credit today. It's pretty bad.
Experian. Experian is another company. And these are like data, like mining companies. They mine data. They find segments for people who want them.
Yeah, wow.
So Equifax, credit, they see stores you buy from. They see what you're spending your money on. So now they can start to form a profile of Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson lives in probably a middle-class town, and he has interest in cars, and they could start to profile you and build who Brian Johnson is without knowing who you are.
That is some scary shit, B. So they can literally, they're basically building a profile of you and clone you out, and then they oh, wow. Your data is really, at the end of the day, you are building a freaking log of yourself online everywhere. Oh my God.
It's all about data. People want to market to the right person because if you're not marketing to the right person, you're not doing your job well.
Okay. Jesus.
The same way that you want to promote this podcast to the right people.
Right.
You got to market to the right people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're wasting your time. And in their case, wasting money.
Okay. Wow. You just dropped a whole heavy load on there. So you gather this information over time. Now, I'm guessing you've been there about. I'm giving like a painting a picture here around your time. So you probably were there for like 5 years. So you're about like 25, 26 years old. At that time, how was your life adjusting? Because 25 normally that's when things begin to get strange for some people. For most people, 25 is like a marker year. You're either going to be going forward up in this direction, or you're going to be, I'm stagnant. I'm just staying right here. I'm still going to party until my head blows off.
All right, so around the age of 25, I had taken a job offer in New York. So I became a commuter, and at 25, I was still hungry, ambitious, wanting to make more money. that move jumped me up about 10 to 15 grand, so it was well worth it.
So
Same industry, just a competitor.
So you're working in New York at that time,
right?
Are you like? Because I'm going in deep here, but I always ask these people because I never commuted like that to New York. I was never like I never worked in the corporate scene or anything like that. So how was it like? Did you find yourself? How was that change for you in your life? That whole commuter life? Because that's my boy Lloyd, as you know, he did the commuter thing. He started ingratiating himself into that after work party life, and it was like it's a whole nother life out there.
I loved New York because the energy was vibrant, and the bus ride in is tranquil. Everybody pretty much are just like, all right, you know what, we just got up, we're just gonna read our books, or listen to our music, and just get to New York. But once you walk out of Port Authority, it's such
pandemonium.
It's such a crazy rush.
Yeah.
People are all moving and shaking, and it's crazy because we are all moving toward the money. Everybody is moving toward the money.
Cash rules everything around
me. So the energy just goes up notches.
Yeah.
And everybody's moving and shaking in the rat race.
Yeah, man.
I loved it at 25 because I was 25. I was 25. When spring, summer hits, you got beautiful people walking around, the ladies around, dresses. It just was the money. I'm in Manhattan. I'm making money. Yeah. I'm 25. I'm living on my own. But I was never one for the after work party. After working, I wanted to go home.
Okay.
I'm a bit introverted in the sense that after I've dealt with people all day, I like to go and be by myself.
I see what you're saying. You like that's peacetime.
I need to recharge.
Yeah. Because you give a lot.
Especially in that industry.
Yeah.
It's a customer service based job.
Right.
Someone's calling because they need a deal. Someone's calling because they're looking for their names. It didn't arrive yet. Someone's calling to see what you have new. Someone's calling to see what do you have that we haven't tried yet. It's a customer service based job. And even though I moved into the sales aspect of it, you still have customers and clients that want something from you.
Right.
So the phone ringing, the email, you know what I mean, and the talk internally is about clients and how you can service them and give them what they want.
So you're all talked out by the end of the day.
That's it. That's it. By 6, I want to be back home or on my way home.
I dig it. I understand that because I used to be that same way at certain times. Like at one point, I'd be like, I can't deal. This is too much. You guys are talking too damn much. I can't deal.
Yeah.
And I used to talk to people every hour in the hour. I talked to like 20 people in like 2 hours. It was rough.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Now so now you're incorporated into this life of commuting, and it's probably changed your perspective on a lot of things at this point because you're moving into this. When did the thought process of like, okay, maybe I see some other things, maybe I can look at some other things. When did you start to think about picking up a camera at that point?
25, I still wasn't thinking about photography. I still
but
wasn't.
As time went on, I'm guessing some things started to happen in your life that would lead you here.
Yeah, so I did music.
I know, that's why I wanted to get into the music thing. I just didn't know where it came in at this point.
Photography came into my life at 32.
Good age because you're a little more mature. 32. When did music come into your life?
Music, I used to write rhymes back in high school around the time when Mobb Deep, Hell on Earth came out.
Big album.
Ghostface, Iron Man came out. Muddy Waters. Yes. Around that time, I was heavily influenced by that. Biggie and Jay and just all of that. A Tribe Called Quest and all of that. I started writing back then. I really love music. Is my first love. I love music, but eventually music wasn't paying me for my time.
Right.
And as I was growing older, I started to feel like, how am I spending my time? And I invested a lot of time into music.
Yeah.
I made some great music, man. And it wasn't all in vain. But I started to move into a place where I'm just like, I got into a relationship at 29. And it was a serious relationship. We moved in together. She had a daughter. I started to have less time to do music.
And you have more responsibilities.
And I have more responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I'm working. I'm being a boyfriend / stepfather, and things just change. Priorities change.
How was your friends around that time around you? How was the homies?
Everybody's doing their own thing, man.
It's a crazy feeling,
trying
right?
to find everybody's trying to find their way, trying to do their thing. No love lost. You know, I've always had the type of friendships where it's like we may not talk every day,
Right.
but you know I care about you. You know the friendship is sustained. It's not going nowhere. I'm not gonna change unless that person changes or they do something to me.
Got you.
I'm loyal. I'm almost too loyal to a fault.
But you have your homies. You
I
have
got
your
my homies.
You got your homies for life.
For life.
I've had plenty of times, and I don't mean to hop on Teaneck, but man, when we got our homies, man. Even I don't know if it's about this area or something like that, but I go other places. They like, yo, I didn't hold on to my high school friends like that. I don't know, like I'm like, yo,
Teaneck is different.
It's like a fraternity sorority. Like if you from here, you understand what I'm saying. But once we locked into a crew, that's our crew for life. That's your peoples for life. It don't matter how many years might go by or months go by that you don't speak to that person. It's still, yo, what up, yo?
Yeah, it is.
What's good, yo?
It is. For us, for example, you know what I'm saying? Whenever I see you, bumped into you, it's always love. And I'm just like, yo, this was always a cool, positive brother. You know what I'm saying? Had a smile on his face, you know what I'm saying? Crack a little joke. You know what I'm saying? I know you loved cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew you was just a cool cat.
Appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that. Because it's same thing, like I always admire about you, Ivan, all you guys is like, y'all still, no matter whatever the situation is, y'all set the example for all of us because you guys stuck together and ride together, and you guys, you know, it's like that Wu song when Ray say, you know, or no, is it Ray or I think it's Ghostface who said his seed married my seed. That like I understood what he was trying to say. Like this is family for life.
It's family for
life. You know what I mean? And it's like Teaneck people and even England people, obviously Hackensack people probably are the same kind of way. It's like, you know, you guys are just extended family at the end of the day. Like you guys are just, I just know you. I know you from around my way. If we OT, then we good because I know you. You know me. You know what time it is. So we all ride together. So it's kind of like, no matter where we're at, you can always find somebody from around our way. And that's one thing that I'm blessed to always find, knock on wood, that never ends for my kids or anybody, that I could always find somebody from around my way, man. But yeah, you guys really did set the precedent because you guys have stayed tight. Yeah, I would say 97, 98, 99, even my class and everyone beyond us, we've always stayed tight. It's been it's kind of like a community where you know each other. Like, yeah, I know him. Like, I really know him.
Yeah. We're family.
Yeah.
This is family.
Yeah, man. It's an ill situation. It's not a joke when we say that.
Yeah.
It's really like it is. We're like Howard people are kind of like that too. You know what I'm saying?
You went to Howard?
No, I didn't go to Howard, but I could tell when I've been to a couple Howard parties, and I'm just like, okay, it's like everyone knows everyone.
Everybody knows everybody.
I'm gonna be over here.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'll be over here with the rest of the outcasts. Hey, outcast person, how are you?
Word.
So it's but I understand it. Now, you were into the music. You became kind of a stepdad to a child. You were with a woman who at that point was probably impacting your whole life a lot at that point, I'm guessing. Now, you're picking up a camera. Were you still with her when you decided to get into photography, or you were like, all right, I don't know.
I wasn't with her when I really started to get into photography. We had broken up.
Right.
I had moved out, and I had dibbled and dabbled a little bit more with music. I've had some things like on my mind that I want to get off and put in music. But I bought a camera because I needed another way to express myself. And I just started to feel like music was just becoming too time consuming.
Yo, bro, you're a creative for real.
I'm trying.
Let me keep it 100 with you, bro. You're 100% a creative because you didn't. I thought you were gonna say because I needed another avenue to make money. You know, you were like, I just needed another way to express myself. That in itself takes balls to say. That's creative. That's a creative 101 right there, bro.
Yeah, I initially wasn't thinking money, but eventually you want to monetize
your art.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
I bought a camera, Canon T2i. First camera, introductory camera, entry level, not even full frame. Just wanted a camera that was better than a point and shoot. I took classes at Unique Photo to learn more about the camera. And
Shout out to Unique.
Yeah, that was one of the best things that I could have done,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, if I'm gonna use this camera,
Right.
I want to learn about this camera, and I want to do things right. I want to take. I was always looking at pictures. I told you I had the camera in my pocket, always looking at pictures, and sometimes I would look at pictures and be like, I wish I took that picture.
Yeah.
Because I want to show it in my way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean, because you see it differently than what the picture, with the other person, the other photographer saw it as, but you want to see it in your eyes.
Right.
I understand that so much.
Right.
Like, now I really understand that so much.
Yeah.
I completely understand it, because now I look at some pictures and I'd be like, well, this is I don't know why this is getting all this attention. This is not a good picture. Like, the lighting is off, the face is down. You're supposed to be it's not symmetrical. I don't get it. But now that I look at it, it's like I become a critic, even of my old work, and I'm still like a newbie at this. Man, wow.
That's the thing with music and photography. It's subjective. It's all subject to somebody else's opinion of whether they think is great or not.
Yeah.
And I've always put myself with music and photography. I've always put myself in this position where someone else can look at it and judge me and say whether they think this is mediocre, this is good, or whether it's trash.
Right.
But artists are sensitive to criticism, but
we definitely are.
I know that whenever I put my heart into something and I let it go, whether it was a song or whether it was a picture, I felt that it was good.
Right.
And I let it go.
Yeah.
And whether people like it, I hope that they like it. If they don't like it, life goes on.
Yeah. I got to show you some of my stuff, man, when we get done with this.
Okay,
but, man,
okay.
But yo, man, you just opened up a can of worms right there. Because how did you feel when you started shooting? How did that go? Like, what was the first couple of things? I got so many questions, but what was the first couple of things you started shooting? What was like your big attention? Because for me, I know I started going to the park. That was like the first thing I started learning how to shoot on.
Dude, the first thing, I don't remember what the first thing was that I started shooting. It may have been things in the house, in here, because I lived here since I was 25. But I had a friend, shout out to my man, DJ Major. His name is Tommy. Tommy started a mobile DJ company that he wanted to get out of the clubs, from DJing in the clubs, and he wanted to start doing private events. So he said, Ant, I see that you're taking pictures. You seem like you're taking it serious.
Yeah.
I want to present to you an opportunity that whenever I have a client that wants to DJ, wants to MC,
right,
I can now include you for photography. Would you be down?
There you go. That's dope. That sounds like a dope deal.
And I said, yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
And that's when things started to really get serious. And it's just like, all right, no more playing around. Get serious. And these people want their pictures, and they want over 300 pictures, and they better be good.
That's the pressure. It's the pressure. Yeah. It's the pressure, boy.
Yeah.
It's one thing. Listen, man. If there's any advice, if anyone's listening to this that is thinking about getting into any business anywhere, I want you to understand that when you decide to go into business for yourself, what you do and the quality of your work is your biggest asset. I don't care about how much money you spent. I don't care about the quality of gear you have. What's the most number one thing is the quality of your work and how much time you save those people. If you're a time saver and your quality is good, people will always come back to you. That's something I just wanted to say real quick. And not to draw away from what you're talking about, but it's something I've had to realize over time when I've used people is like, yo, if you take up too much of my time or you don't give me I don't see quality in your work, there's a lot of issues with that, man. There's a lot of issues with that. Now,
that's a fact. Man.
Yeah, when you started out, you were rolling with this man. How was your experience like rolling with him? And you're going to these. I'm guessing you're going to different places and your different spots. How was it like? Now you got to shoot on these on your camera. How was it you getting there and being able to see what was a good shot, what was a bad shot? Did you how was your margin for error and stuff?
All right. It was a little scary.
Needless to say.
It was a little scary because these people are posing. I'm taking the picture, and it better look good, because how many times can you say, all right, one more. Okay, hold on, one more. Hold on, one more. You don't want to be, you start to seem unprofessional.
Yes.
And people look at you like, who is this guy? So what I would do is, before any event, I would, if it was a Sweet 16, I will go online and I will look at Sweet 16 pictures that other photographers have taken, and I would see what's important. And
That's smart.
I would read about what is important. You know what I'm saying? This 16-year-old, she's doing her Sweet 16. Her mom and her dad are there, and it's almost like her introduction into becoming a woman. You know, even though 18 is like the legal age, but she's at that age where she's entering that place of becoming a woman. I would look at pictures and see what shots would seem to be important to people who were hiring photographers for these gigs. So whatever gig he said, Aunt, we got a birthday party, Aunt, you're doing a wedding, Aunt, you're doing a Sweet 16. I would always go online and do research so I could see what's important when you're doing that event.
Smart.
And I was just like, that was the most priceless thing I could have done, because besides being a newbie and being in something that you've never done before, that was my little bit of insight. We all want insight in life.
We all
want insight. You always want insight into your woman, into the way that women speak. You want insight into in business. If there were closed door meetings, you want to know what was going on. You want insight. You want to know what's happening. How come I wasn't included? What is going on? I'm a inquisitive dude. I want to know what's happening. That's why I always got my ear to the street. I'm always trying to see what's going on. I need to know what's happening, and that was my way of knowing what to expect before I got to the event.
Yeah, the way you said that was perfect, because now, me being a newbie, now I look at YouTube, and I'm up on YouTube all day long, and I'm just trying to understand how to shoot, where to shoot, trying to get my focus points right, trying to understand what continuous is, when to do single shots, when you're supposed to do it. Like, that all comes in experience, but you got to trial and error. Did you ever find yourself in a position like where you got back a client and the client was just like, yo, this sucks, you need to redo it?
I've never had a client say this sucks. Whether they felt like it didn't suck or whether they didn't want to hurt my feelings, I don't know.
Yeah, but I know that feeling too, because you never know. You just never know.
You never know. But I always defaulted back to Tommy, and I said, Tommy, what was the feedback? You're like, yo, they love the pictures. And that became a reoccurring statement. Yo, Aunt, they love the pictures. He never once said, yo, Aunt, man, they wasn't really happy with the pictures. I have never heard that. Because I made sure that I'm like, you know what? And that's the thing. If you shoot an event and I'm sending you anywhere from 200 to 500 pictures,
that's a lot of editing, bro.
Not every picture is going to be insane.
Word.
But you will find at least, 50. You'll find at least 20 that are just like, wow, this really captures the emotion of that specific father and daughter dance, man. When he's about to tear up, or, like, there'll be some shots where I'm just like, wow, even I'm surprised. Like, damn, bro, you took that? Talking to myself. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, you're going to get 500 pictures, but there's going to be some shots in there that's going to be like, wow, I love this. I love the way he did this. That's
one, like, I definitely caught on to, even now, it's like you get a lot of positive feedback. But my mind goes when I don't get like immediate feedback, I'm like, okay, things go bad. Hold on, let me just hit this person. Hey, everything good with the pics? Want to make sure you got them.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about that, but then I'm like, nah, let me not be thirst bucket guy. But then I realize, like, it's just the artist in you that it is always going to be, no matter what anybody says, as long as you're creative, approval from people, it's still there.
Yeah.
And I think that's legitimate on everybody. I think there's a handful of people who probably don't give a damn, but there's something they want approval from, whether they want to admit it or not, whether it's from family or anything like that. Now you're single at this point. You and that lady are no longer together.
Right.
You're venturing into this photography world, and you're still working. You're still working a full-time job and going into this creative space. Now at this point, the creative vein in you is like, this is what you're finding. You're beginning to get more and more into the creativeness of it. Now, most guys, they're about 32 and they're in their 30s. They're thinking about, well, I'm gonna get this crib, I'm gonna get this girl, and we're gonna get this house, and like settling down and stuff like that. Now, were you surrounded by people settling down around you?
Yeah, and people were settling down. Serious relationships all around me, engagements, people getting married, people having babies.
That might be good for business. I don't know.
It was good for business. And but you know what? I hate to sound like this, but if some people don't have necessarily a big dream, their dream may be having their wife, having their kids, and family, and creating a family, their own family. That may be their dream. So you got some people who are just like, they don't aspire to be a rap artist. They don't aspire to be a dancer. They don't aspire to be a fashionista. They don't aspire to be a photographer. But what moves them is their family. They're passionate about their family. So even though at that point in time, after I had just got out of my relationship, I wasn't thinking about starting no family or getting married or getting engaged or anything like that. I respect people that were, because that's your life. Your life is different than mine. And if you found love, if you found love, that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Everybody wants love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. And if that's what makes you happy, if you don't necessarily have a big dream, if that is your dream, I respect it.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I totally feel
To have your house that you own, that
Yeah.
you don't have to, you're paying your mortgage to, and to walk home and see your wife at home, you know what I'm saying? Spending time with your kids, I respect it, and I love it.
I never even thought about it like that, but that's a very good point, bro. Like I never thought about it in that terms. Like some people are not dreamers. Some people don't think outside of being great at something or having something exhibited in that, and they being proud of it like that. They're just like being stable and producing a family legacy to them is the biggest thing in their lives. And for years, I used to not think like that. I used to be like, yo, bro, you ain't got no dreams? Yo, you're dead, yo. But some people fall into that world of getting caught up in the world of the, oh, you're working a corporate job, you're dead.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with you. You need to get out there and live your life. It's I call it the motivational bug. Like people get into this motivational world where everybody's supposed to be out living their dream when that's not reality. Some people just wanted a better life than what they came from, and having some stability is what they want. That's a great point, man. That's a really good point. Yo, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Every photographer has someone who inspires them. Who inspires you?
A photographer that inspires me?
No, just in period. Everyone has a creative. I should just said not a photographer. Creative inspiration. Everyone has a creative inspiration.
Man,
I know it's a little bit of a tough question. I'm sorry.
It really is, man. You know, I'm gonna start off with people around me that inspire me.
Right.
So when I was doing music, you know my boy Malcolm.
Yes.
Malk is very talented. So, you know, me and Malk used to make music.
Sneaker master.
And he shout out to Malcolm Garrett. He does the custom shoes now.
Word.
But Malcolm has gone through a bunch of things to try to find himself. He did music with me. He rapped with me. He produced beats. And I'm not talking no simple beats. I'm talking dope beats.
Right.
And he rhymed great. And he created like a fashion line. So that's an example of people around me, close to me, that inspire me. So even though he's not a photographer, he's still inspiring, because I look at him and I'm just like, he's creating.
Yeah.
And I like people that create. So as far as somebody,
I remember him back in the day. He was working at a dealership with me for 2 seconds.
Oh, word?
And then like he was working at a dealership for like 2 seconds on Route 4, and that was the last time I saw him for a while.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I see him on Instagram, and he's been killing it ever since.
There's people around me that inspire me, and they may not even know that they inspire me. And it's sort of like a steel sharpens steel type of deal.
Yes.
So when I see my friends that actually are creators creating, it makes me stay on my path of creating. So
Right.
he's still creating.
Yeah.
Like Esso used to be a DJ, and I used to be like, damn, man, how do you know to just start blending that song in there, yo? It sounded so good.
Right.
My boy Tommy, DJ Major, he's a DJ. Oh, man. Damn, dude, you caught that so nice on the blend. Little things like that, I care about. And I'm paying attention and I'm looking at it.
Right.
And I love it because he's seeing that people like it. He's getting a reaction from the crowd. There's people around me that inspire me.
Right.
Now, there are some photographers that like I follow. I'm like, yo, this dude is crazy, and I may not even remember some of their names.
Right.
But when they see him in my feed, I'm like, yeah, this dude is killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a guy, Mr. Guerrera, from New York.
Jose Guerrero. He does a lot of models.
He does dope.
Yeah, I follow him. He does a lot of models.
His work is crazy.
Yeah,
but
man.
not only does he get these beautiful women that want to work with him, what he gives you as the final product is so dope, man. He works with his lady Blue Gem, and they collaborate on stuff. And I think that's so dope. A man and his lady collaborating, making these crazy like.
That's how my guy Manny Ortiz. The same thing with him and his wife.
So dope,
man. I think it's dope when a woman is in it with her man and they're making things together.
It's
I think
beautiful.
It's very hard to be a creative and your woman is completely not involved in it.
Yeah.
Like my lady, she's supportive, but I know that she needs to see me bring home the bread. I know at the end of the day, like she's gonna bring home her bread, but I know at the end of the day she's gonna need to see me bring home the bread too, because she's got to trust that we're gonna be able to take care of ourselves. Because a woman, I realized this as I got older. The biggest thing to a woman is stability. If you ain't stable, they ain't trying to hear you, because a woman will be with an ugly man who is stable before she be with an ugly man who is not.
Yeah,
and that's one thing.
You're right.
It's the realest thing in the world, yo. They will stay with a man who is trash. As long as he's good looking, he's serving, he's doing what he got to do. But he brings home the money, and it's crazy how that goes for a guy who's a creative. Now, for a woman that's a creative, it's hard for her, because I think a lot of guys, it's hard for her to be with. If she makes more money or does better than the man, that man's got to accept the fact your woman is a big time creator. You got to like kind of humble yourself, down. And I think it's hard for a lot of women who are in that field to find a man who is willing to let her play the main role and sit back. That's a difficult thing, I think, in a lot of ways, man.
Yeah, man. You make a good point, man. Some women are watching from a distance. Some women, they're supportive.
Yes.
Very supportive. And then some are just like, this is a hobby that you have until you really start making money from it, and I need you to be real with yourself. Yeah. So you're gonna have some women like that. Yeah. Some women are going to test you as a man, and they want you to be a man. Yeah. And if as a man you're supposed to be a provider and be stable, they're going to test you on that.
That's what they sold us. That's what we've been sold, baby. That's what we've been sold, and we all bought it.
And we all bought. You're right. You're right. Yeah. So at this point, I don't have any woman looking at me and judging me and assessing whether I'm successful or not in my photography business. Right. And I'm cool with that. The right woman will align herself with me when it's time, and I'm not really worried about it. You know what I'm saying? Right now is my time to carve my space. Yeah. To build, to grow my business, to make beautiful pictures, to make people happy. That's the end result. Like, yeah, I need to get paid, but I need to make sure that these people will feel like, yo, you were the best decision for this, man.
Do you get a lot of business from referral? Is that like referrals? Like the referral is your lifeblood at the end of the day. Yeah.
Referrals, word of mouth is the best promo you can ever have, because everybody wants a suggestion from somebody. Yeah. I'm about to do this. Who do you suggest?
Exactly.
And if they ramble off your name within the first 2 or 3 names, then you're doing a good job.
Right. It's such a feeling when someone says, "Yo, my man, I got recommended by such and such that you did before." I remember when you first shot for me, and I think you got a baby. It was a baby shoot for after I did that, because I'm like, yo, my man's dope. Like, go ahead, here's his number, call him. Like,
yes, I did, and thank you.
No problem, brother. I was like, I know what that's like. You know what I mean? Like, it's so important. People really don't understand why we get so crazy about social media stuff and why we want our credits. It's because you don't understand. When you post your credits, if you post our stuff or you put our stuff up there with our names on it, that's our advertisement.
Yes.
Nobody got money for all these other advertisers all day long. When you post that stuff, you give us our credit, man. That's our biggest advertiser. You don't know who's looking at your picture who might need a photographer or
Amen.
might need a videographer or might need somebody to do digital work for them. Those things mean a lot to people, creative people, because that's the only advertising we got.
Amen. And I do feel funny sometimes when someone is not shouting out the photographer. And it happens from time to time. And I'd have to check myself, and I have to I have to ask myself, are you taking this too serious? Are you being too sensitive about this?
No.
Or is it, that's the right thing to do? But some people are so caught up in their picture, and some people, I've done shoots for people, they don't want, and the pictures come out great, they don't want other people to know who's taking these great pictures for them.
That's nuts.
It's almost like they want to keep it as a secret and keep it to themselves.
So they can own,
They don't want to know, let people know who their plug is, who is making me look so good.
That's so wild, man. You don't understand, creative people, we have to eat. We don't eat like, I'm going to tell you right now, creative people don't normally eat like everybody else, my G. We don't have somebody sending us a check every month, every 2 weeks. Our checks come from people knowing who we are, our ability to use some of that money for advertising online, and then from the ability of getting referrals of people putting on it. Like, you've done plenty of weddings. And I'm sure if you had not done a couple of weddings good, you wouldn't have got those other weddings.
Right.
So it's like, please, I hate to say this, I can't believe I say this. Always give the photographer credit. Man.
Always.
It's legit. It's a legit thing. It is a thing. Yes, he or she has a right to get tight at you if you don't do it.
Yes.
And say something to you because he or she, you might think, it's just an IG pic. No, if you have 18,000 followers, there's at least 3 people in there that might give us business.
Word.
So we need that look.
It's very important, and it means a lot. It goes a long way. And for people, for the creatives that are just doing the creative work, like you said, they're not getting that check on the 15th and the 31st.
Nope.
So anything you can do to showcase their work and put it out there it goes a long way. You're literally helping someone eat.
You literally are. So are.
And I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
You are helping someone
Word.
eat. You're helping someone pay the light bill,
man.
the gas and electric bill. That's what you are doing. That's what you're contributing to. So it's very real.
When you give those looks to those people, you're helping out their cause. And listen, we can't get those looks that you want because without getting those other words of mouth, because we need to pay for all this gear. And let me tell y'all something. For all my photographers out there, you know what I'm talking about. When you get below like 3.5 and you're dropping, for those who don't know, that's the aperture. Those who photographers know what I'm talking about. You're dropping down below that, things start getting real expensive.
Very expensive.
So can you talk about when you're getting to the gear and for those who aren't photographers, I know some of you guys are going to tune out at this point, but let's put it this way. For photographers, we have these things, we call them lenses. Lenses are the most expensive part of our bag of stuff that we use for tools. And we have, people always say you can have any body, but you got to have good glass. See, when you're a photographer, you're creative. So you know what you're doing, you're shooting, you have an idea what you want to shoot, you have an idea what you're trying to create. But if you don't have the glass to create it, it's worthless. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because you have the look in your head, but you can't manufacture that look without some type of glass. Can you talk about how expensive this movement and how you get there can be?
Lenses are expensive. I'm not even going to BS. Lenses are expensive. They can be, when you add up the lenses, it could be thousands of dollars.
Yes.
That could be spent. So, I did research. I found lenses that were within my budget, and I think my budget probably for lenses was anything less than $400. I think I would entertain. So I don't know if I even have a lens that costs me more than $400. I may not. I may have. I can't even remember how much this was. This may have
For those who are not
maybe-
looking, if my photographer homies, I think that's a
70 to 200.
70 to
yeah.
200. That's the
4 aperture.
4 aperture. Now that's the banger body. That's the one. That's the one that you have to have if you're going to move into certain photography things. So let me just break this down to you guys. So a photographer is he or she can't get won't be able to get certain gigs if you don't have the certain gear. Like the other day, I was on Indeed, and I was looking up, real estate photography, how much they would, what do they want? Dude was like, they were like, well, you got to have a 14 to 16, and you got to be full frame. And I'm sitting up there like, so I go look for what's comparable to the camera body that I have for all my Nikon shooters. Was good. It was it was $700 to $1,400, and that's a lens, people. That's a lens. For some people, that's their rent. For some people, that's your car payment. For some people, that's your mortgage.
Yeah, man.
It's not a cheap thing. This is why we stress so hard about, hey, make sure you put our cred on it, or at least, make sure you let a friend know about our stuff.
Yeah, we trying to get that money back that we spend on some lenses, and it may take a couple months to get the money back, but at least you could feel like, man, at least I got the money back. It was worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was worth it. And sometimes when you can't afford the lens, you really just have to rely on settings and just studying the craft. Rely on settings and just setting it up to be a good picture, whether you have that expensive lens or not.
Yeah.
So I'm big on composition. I look at the thirds, the rule of thirds. I'm big on composition, big on the rule of thirds.
Word.
And I don't like poses so much. I think anybody can pose. You know what I mean?
You're like candid. You're a candid shooter.
I really like a lot of candids.
Me
man.
too, man.
Me
too.
I love candids, man. Things they know I'm around, but they don't know that I'm shooting right now.
Exactly.
They see me around, but they don't know I'm shooting right now.
Exactly.
I love those.
I'm in the zone. Like I'm in my best zone when I am just floating around and no one's posing. Because I'm getting all the good shots at that point. You don't even know I'm there, but I'm getting my best shots when you give me that chance. It's a beautiful thing, man. And like when you're in that zone, and I'm new to this, so I can't necessarily speak on. I've had a lot of shoots where I can talk about everything, but I know for a fact my best shots always come from when the person is not even there, and then I'm conveying, because I can convey all the, like, I still have trouble with composition, but I can, when it comes down to knowing where I want that person to be at that moment, pop, I'm right there. I got that click, and I think that's one of the best things ever. So I completely agree with you on that level. When you look at your work now. What has been what are you most proud of?
What, as funny as it sounds, events are really cool for the payday, and I appreciate that. But a lot of the times what I'm most proud of is actually when I was one-on-one with somebody, and it's almost like
portraits and stuff?
Portraits, man. Solo shoots. Like just you and that person talking, vibing, seeing where you want to go with the shoot, what their expectations are, what they want it to look like, what they envisioned. I actually enjoy that and that creative process the most.
I got you.
But, weddings, sweet 16s, and gigs like that, events, they're good for a payday.
Right.
And I do enjoy them because they're always a celebration.
Yeah.
And I'm now at the celebration. I'm getting paid to be at the celebration. I'm documenting the celebration. And they even had a table for me to sit down, enjoy some food, and take a break at the celebration.
Sweet.
And you can't beat that.
Yeah.
You're around so much. I went to one wedding recently. No, actually, it was maybe it was last year in October. This wedding was so full of positive energy. I could feel it. I don't think I've ever felt anything like this before.
Wow.
It was so much
like
love.
You were at church, baby.
Dude, it was so much positive energy.
Yeah.
I felt like I was part of the family. They were just like happy, like, Ed, come here, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just felt like I was a part of the family.
Now, did they get you to drink, man? Let me ask you the weddings.
No.
How did they be passing you drinks? Because I've seen weddings where they be like, yo, Yo, don't worry about it.
Of
60 foot.
course,
Yeah.
they'll always ask you if you want to drink, especially if they see you doing your job.
Yeah.
If you're doing your job, they will ask you if you want to drink.
Yeah.
Now, I don't drink.
Right,
I stopped drinking when I was like 24, 25.
I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
Yeah.
Yo, word.
Yeah, I stopped drinking around.
I thought you were a
24.
hen drinker, like you know.
I used to drink hen in
Yeah.
college. Yeah,
Yeah.
straight. Me and Seth. Seth was my roommate. We
God, man, Seth, man.
Yeah.
God rest him,
R.I.P..
bro. R.I.P. God rest dead.
used to, R.I.P. Yeah, we used to keep Henny in the fridge, man. The small little fridge. Yeah, Hennessy was my best friend. I loved Hennessy. Put me in a good. Put me. I was either. It did make me angry sometimes.
Yeah, angry ant moments.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
did.
yeah. That's Hennessy though. Hennessy will take you there.
Hennessy used to take me to sometimes a dark place. I
Yeah.
used to make me really a little bit more confrontational.
Yeah. I've never seen this before. FYI, everyone.
Yeah.
Ant is just always. Ant's like fucking silk, man. Smooth, just the smoothest dude in the room. Like, yeah, what's up? What's going on? Ant is always very calm and he's very smooth, man. That's why you angry. I think I've seen it maybe once, but this is high school, so this doesn't really even count now at this point.
You know, my thing is, if I'm constantly surrounded by people that I care about and that I love, they're very rarely going to see me be angry.
Oh, I got you.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once in a while, either someone who doesn't know you can do something, or someone that you cared about
Right.
betrays you, or took you for granted, or it just didn't communicate well. That can make me angry towards someone I love and I care about.
Got you.
So I'm all about respect. I give so much respect to people, and I expect it back.
Yeah, you do, bro.
You know what I
you
mean?
do. I can't front on that, my G.
So that's
Word.
I'm big on that. Do the right thing. Do right by me.
Yeah.
Don't take me for granted. Don't try to undermine me, because some people think they're slick. I'm my intuition, and I'm very intuitive and into things, and I pick up things. Don't insult my intelligence.
Spidey
man.
sense is high,
Right,
B.
exactly.
Spidey sense is high.
But other than that, we're good. I'd rather laugh. I'd rather laugh than want to choke somebody.
I dig
you know
it.
what I'm saying?
I dig it.
I'd rather. That's just me.
Man, like, man, what was I gonna say? Like, it was, when you were talking about, how much, like I guess like not drinking and stuff like that, and you're at these weddings and you're shooting it. There's a lot of pressure. And people don't seem to understand that. There's a lot of pressure when you're shooting those kind of events.
A lot of pressure, man.
A lot. It's like I never really realized, but then I started watching a lot of like big YouTubers and they would talk about like wedding photography, and then all of a sudden they'd be like, "Don't do it. Don't even think about doing it. If you're not going to be the second shooter on the first try, don't do it. Don't shoot it by yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it." And I didn't understand it, and then I spoke to you, and then I was like, "Oh, I get it. Now I understand."
It is hectic. It is hectic.
Yeah.
People don't understand. That wedding day could start at 10 a.m. Where if this person says, "And I want you to come to the hotel," and when you get to the hotel, you're gonna start taking shots of me getting my makeup done and my hair done. So you start there, you're getting shots of the hair and the makeup, the dress, the shoes, the ring, the bouquets, the bridesmaids, them maybe having a little drink, playing around on the bed, just having a good time before it's time. Then she's putting on the dress, then you want to get to her and the dress, and the mom helping out with the dress and the earrings, and you know what I mean, all of these little details. Then you want to get, what is the groom doing? If you don't have a second shooter, ladies, I'll be back. I have to go get the groom. You got to go now find the groom. You want to get him, put on his shoes, his cufflinks, his vest, his suit, his best man.
You haven't even gotten to the limo yet.
You haven't even gotten to the limo yet, but you are there at 10 a.m. Then you get to the groom. Then you getting his shots. Then you get the groomsmen and him hanging out and having a good time. Then it's like, okay, I'm out, guys. I got to go get to the church. All right, I'll be at the church. And when you guys roll up, I'll get shots of you guys coming out the limo. So then now I'm out. I'm out to the church. So now I'm at the church. I'm running around. I'm getting to church before everybody gets there. Picking up details in the church. Then they arrive. All right, they arrive. Each bridesmaid is coming out. You got to get them. Bridesmaid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get the bridesmaid. The bride is coming out. Snap, 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 snap. The dress. She's walking up the stairs. You want to get her. guys are already, let's say the guys already came and I snapped them. They're standing inside. They're waiting for the bride to walk in with her dad.
Right.
You're moving so many moving parts. You're moving all over the damn place.
Jesus Christ.
And if you don't have a guideline or you have not done it before, you are going to be in for a ride of your life.
Yo.
Because after that ceremony is over, it's only 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still have the reception that's going to start. Let's say the reception starts at 4. You still have 4 to like maybe, I'm going to say 8 to 10 o'clock. And that's if they start at 4.
Yeah. And you still got to take shots in between then.
You got it. Then after the church, let's go to the park. We got to go to the park.
Yeah,
so now you're at the park, right?
Doing park shots.
So now you're at the park and you're doing park shots and bridesmaids and this and that and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, reception. Then it's to the reception. If you did not eat...
Yeah, because I'm about to say, when did you have time to eat?
You got to have breakfast before you roll out, and you got to fit in some way, somehow, maybe lunch, or if you're lucky, you grab some stuff from the cocktail hour before the reception.
Oh my God!
You need energy.
Yeah, you got to have energy. You got to keep
you're running around.
It's not you got to keep a Snicker bar in your coat pocket. Like, okay,
it is not a game.
Oh my God!
It is not a game. It is real deal. And I'm not trying to scare anybody listening. I'm just letting you know that there's a difference between the small wedding that happens, a civil ceremony that happens at the courthouse.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between the person who's rented out a hall and you had to meet up with them at the hotel. You go into the church, then you go into the park, then you go into the reception.
Right.
By the time you get home, you have worked maybe a 13-hour day.
Right. And your legs are
your legs
are rubber.
The next day, you feel like you worked out because you were walking and running all over the damn place.
What's the turnaround time they be asking for something like that? Yo, turnaround time's gotta be nuts, man.
I used to turn these around in 2 weeks, but now I ask for 30 days.
Yeah, I totally feel you on that.
When I first started, I was doing it 2 weeks because I just felt like they're waiting. Let me get this to them. They're waiting. But then I'm like, for me to do a good job and not stress myself out, I need 30 days.
Yeah, because you're reviewing thousands of photos at that point.
Yeah, bunch of hundreds and hundreds of photos.
So, I mean, shit, I've done events and I've come home with like 1,000 photos and I'm doing, this is just a one event. And I'm like, yo, like I have to go through each one of these and it would take some time.
Yeah, it takes time.
It takes time. And then you got to go and you got to be like, okay, this sucked. This is good. This is bad. Oh, this is terrible. Oh no. Okay. What the hell was I doing here? Yeah. Okay. But like you said, you got to take your time. And I understand now why you say, look, I need to stretch a little time on this. And if they want prints, that's a whole other thing. They want prints and everything. Then we're talking about a whole other story right here.
Yeah.
So backtrack all the way in, and we go all the way back here. So now you're in this stage, and you've developed a business. You're a legit entrepreneur. I know this. I use you. You're my photography guy. When I go to you about stuff all the time, and when I need something.
Yeah.
Now, you're in this business, and you know you're doing multiple businesses at this point, and you're doing a lot of things. How do you find yourself now? And you've grown into this creative space now that you are. Where would you say you are now creatively?
I'm at the best I've ever been, and it's just I don't know, man. It's very different than when I first started, man. Some pictures just have a soul to them, man. They just tell a story, man. They just capture the moment, the feeling, the happiness, the emotions of some people. It's at the best I've ever been, man. And it's because I've educated myself, on settings. I've educated myself on composition. I've educated myself on Lightroom. And when I have a question, I really do try to find the answer because somebody else out there has asked the same question before.
Okay.
So it's got to be out there. Someone's got to have an answer or somewhere near the answer that I'm looking for. So I'm very happy with the creative space that I'm at right now. Is there always room to improve? Of course. You're never the best. That's the thing. Me and you can open up Instagram right now if we wanted to, and we could go #wedding photographer, and you will see some stuff that will blow your mind.
Right.
And it'll make you second guess yourself and what the hell you're doing.
I've done that.
And I've done that.
It's hard when you're starting out as a photographer, and you probably can speak to this, when you're starting out anything, you get into the comparison game and you will fail.
Oh,
That is the worst fucking thing I think anyone's ever invented is this comparison game. It's like you can never, because you're never going to be the best photographer in the world because there's always
someone
It's
better.
like this is not like Highlander where there could only be one, my friends.
No.
This is literally all jokes aside. This is literally like there's a million of you, and you're all within your state limit. I'm gonna keep it honest with you, and there's some kid out there who has a crock body. For those who don't know, the smaller body camera is a beginner camera that probably can shoot better than me and him, and probably doesn't even know it. He's just taking shots for his friends.
what? They exist.
And
This
his game is crazy, man.
One time I was shooting, and I had the pleasure of meeting another young photographer, and I got a chance. We ended up following each other on Instagram, and now I look at her. She's probably only 20, 21 years old, but I look at her pictures. I'm like, wow, man, I'm creating this stuff at 30-something. You're creating this stuff at 20. This is unbelievable. And it's just almost like a young rapper. You know what I mean?
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
it's like that young rapper that's 17 that's just killing it, who's just nice. And it's just, but, it's beautiful, man. Just a beautiful thing, man. I'm enjoying the ride. Enjoying the ride.
And that's so everybody, man, this is why I wanted to have this guy on this podcast. Like, I've seen his growth, and I've seen his ability to find his path, and he stayed on it. Like I tell you, man, it's not easy to come from where we come from and decide to go in another direction. There's a lot of discontent with that, but he did it, and he's been doing it for a long time. So, man, when you see this dude, man, give him his respect, man, because he's one of the few people who I can honestly say,
thank you.
He's
brother.
not changed up. He's been who he is, and he's stayed on his grind, and he's a shooters as we say.
Thanks, man.
Not a problem, bro. Like, so tell them where they can find you, man.
All right, Instagram, it is adsphotography.info.
Yes.
So that's the Instagram. The website is www.adsphotography.info. Make sure it's .info and not .com. It's definitely .info. On Facebook, ADS Photography. There's probably some other ADS photographies out there. That's just how life is. But I'll be the one in Teaneck, New Jersey. And the logo has red letters in it.
Yes.
So that's the Instagram, that's the Facebook, and that's the website. And man, that's pretty much where I display my work.
What can they expect from you in the coming months? Anything coming up? Anything you want people to be checking for?
In the coming months. So so we're in April, May, June. I got some events coming up. Some are even family oriented, and some are just friends that are booking me for milestones in their lives. If you just like to look at dope photos, man, and some stuff I'm gonna shoot just just what I want to shoot or what I like, and freelance it. But if you want to check out stuff from like events and like just people having a good time, and I also do work with Life Touch, which is you guys heard of Life Touch? It's like the national portrait studios that it probably did our high school shoots.
Yeah.
Probably did our middle school shoots.
Yeah.
I do work with them, but
Yeah.
I focus on sports journalism. You see some of that on my page as well. So what's really dope is really working with somebody can now take you to another path because they may know somebody that needs photography work, or they need a creative that needs to be a part of something they got going on. So it's just
it's a lot.
It's dope. It's dope.
It's dope. It's
dope.
It just like, it's like we always say, man. It's like our word is our bond.
Yeah.
And so we really have to stick to what we do, and what we say has to be locked in because that's our golden rules. If I say I gotta make it happen, I gotta make it happen. Listen, Ant-Man, thank you so much, man.
Of course,
I
man.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on my show, man.
Of course, man.
I hope
Anytime.
that you guys pay attention to everything we talked about, man. Today, a lot of information there, man. For anybody who wants to get into photography and everything, this podcast will definitely help you. Listen, thank you everybody who's been tuning in, man. The numbers have been looking great. Like I said, this is episode 12. I'm really I'm really actually did 12 episodes. It's wild. I just want to say
Congrats to
thank
you, man.
Thank
Congrats to you. I before you end, I'm sorry to mess up your closure.
It's all good.
I just want to say
Yeah.
that there's not too many people like you that want to give people a platform
Right.
to express themselves, and this is not an overnight thing that you've done.
Yeah.
I remember circle of success.
Circle of success. Yeah, COS.
I remember that, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate
You've been
that.
doing this a long time, and I appreciate that, man. Like, you know what I'm saying, and I pay attention to everything.
Thank
that's
you,
why
brother.
that's why I let you know.
Yeah.
You're a good dude, man.
Thank you,
Ain't too
man.
many of you.
Nah, man, I appreciate that, man. And see, sometimes when you give people platforms, man, so much can happen, man. Don't be afraid to humble yourself, pull yourself in the situation, and give other people the shine, because at the end of the day, they shine, you shine. So always remember that, man. Listen, I gotta go now, man. Y'all stay up, man, and you know what time it is, man. I'll see y'all next week, man. Stop
Yes,
playing
sir.
around, man. Download Podbean, iTunes, all right? Peace.